Total War Warhammer content when Turin is doing modded content. Like, that's when you know that it's been too long since the last content release. Don't you dare, Kiro. I'll delete it. I'll delete that clip. I'll do it. Like, I feel like that's the secret way to test if it's been too long between pieces of content. Is if Turin's doing it. Hey, I technically always play modded campaigns. Just because y'all don't like how boring my mods are doesn't mean I'm not modding. I never play vanilla campaign. Like, Turin literally plays pure vanilla. Like, Turin is literally the guy who, like, walks into a store and, like, that has all these exotic flavor. Here, I'll put it this way. Turin is the guy who walks into the cupcake shop, and the way he wants his Total War cupcake is he's like, I'll take a vanilla cupcake. And they ask him what kind of icing, and he says, oh, it doesn't matter what kind of icing. And then when he gets his vanilla cupcake, he proceeds to scrape off the icing. That's Turin when it comes to playing Total War.
So close.
Total War single player. I mean, obviously, multiplayer is his thing. And when you're worried about, like, balanced multiplayer, obviously you're not going to do mods, because mods can say all they want that they're balanced. They never are. Mods are never balanced. Like, any mod that claims to be balanced is full of crap. They can make an attempt. They can make an attempt, but it's never true. Dude, don't get me wrong. I made cupcakes tonight because, like I told y'all, we got some really ugly family news tonight, which was really sad. And I'm trying not to think too much about it, but
What lurks in the river Lethe?
we got some really unfortunate news tonight. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make myself feel better. So I made my favorite kind of cake. You know what my favorite kind of cake is? My favorite kind of cake. I'm not shitting you. I'm being completely honest right now. My favorite kind of cake, especially homemade, is yellow cake with vanilla icing. That's my favorite kind of cake.
And all for what? Such a waste, all for your foolish pride, that you should care.
Don't judge me.
By those who shall never know when to be loved.
But anyway,
Yellow cake is basically like vanilla cake. So there's a difference between white cake and vanilla cake. White cake is more like they're very similar, but white cake isn't probably not as sugary, to be honest. Yellow cake is like, it's the most basic bitch cake option imaginable.
I always wondered, sir, what was Achilles like during his youth? I mean, if you can say.
How to describe what somebody was like? Everyone who saw him on the battlefield agreed.
Yeah, yellow is more buttery. Mm-hmm.
Stranger, his allies and his enemies alike. But there was more to him, I think. A certain outlook, a sense of justice. I knew him before he was a warrior. Only reason I suppose I liked him.
Man, I hate how short
Take care, then.
all the conversations with Patroclus tend to be. Like, there's so much I want to know about him, and like, I really enjoy his dialogue, but you barely get like a full,
Build all of this.
you barely get anything out of him before you like get kicked out, and the game's like, okay, move on. Sure, I'll take True Shot. Oh.
Get the spot.
Red Velvet? Red Velvet's just, it's a type of chocolate. Red Velvet is a very particular form of chocolate that looks red. That's all it is. It's called red velvet because it's really, it has a very smooth texture. Like, it's described quite literally.
Thank you, mate.
Oh. 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 Go Heartrend.
The power of the gods.
The power of the gods. Hope they're ready to get their asses beat. Could I fix it with a Google search?
Attack us if you dare, blackguard. Asterius and I stand ready.
The next time I ever fight someone, or when I start playing multiplayer again, the next time I fight somebody playing Dark Elves, I'm gonna be like, oh, how are your Blackguard of Nagaroth? Or Blackguard of Nagaron. And they'll be like, my what? Your Blackguard. You mean my Blackguard? No, no, no. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Blackguard.
All shall soon decay. Come, monster. Attack with everything you have.
You and me, King.
A solid hit. I do not fear you, fiend. Your presence is a stain upon Elysium.
My chariot may be gone, but we shall rise again.
What are you, the South?
Power of the gods.
That'll teach him. We got them, my good Shade.
Just like the South, Theseus will keep losing. Amen. Words of wisdom you speak, I see. It's funny. Oh, I haven't used a lot of my stuff.
Should be useful.
With the southern realms being Italy, southern France, and Spain, do they simply follow the usual empire gods, or do they have more Hellenistic gods? So the southern gods have what are called... Odd One, have a good night, my dude. Thanks so much for coming by. The southern realms had their own gods. They worshipped what were called the new gods, which the Empire and Bretonia have taken up some of them, not all of them. But like Shalia, so Shalia, the goddess of healing, and mercy. Verena, the goddess of justice. Myrmidia, who's the goddess of strategy, and I think one other one. But those three are all actually from the south. So like Myrmidia, Shalia, and Verena became popularized, or came to exist in like Telea, Telea, Estalia, or Telea and Estalia. Ranald, maybe? I don't think it's Ranald. There is a god of merchants. It starts with an H. it's hair or something. But the kind of like they're kind of like newfangled gods. They're scholarly gods, and they came from the south, but their worship has come up to the north, and has become much more popular in recent times. They've actually supplanted a lot of the older gods. For instance, Tal and Raya have kind of faded really, really hard into the background and aren't heavily worshipped anymore. Because Shalya kind of took their place in like civilized society. But beyond that, yeah, the Empire adopted some of the southern gods. Yeah, Ranald probably is a southern god. Because, yeah, I mean, he's the god of what? Thieves, luck, and, yeah, gambling. Those are all fairly, like, modern things.
Why not?
Why does the text on this look really weird? I don't need more money, I think. I think I've got plenty. Well, I mean, you can... I'll get a faster special. Alright, Kiro. Have a good night. Thanks for being here.
Power of Olympus.
Good grief.
Hey!
I will say, though, there is one southern god who is not popular in the north. The god that exists down in Tilia, and Estalia, who is not at all popular up north, is Solkhan. But Solkhan is a very nasty deity. He is not nice. He's a very cruel deity, who is all about like physical punishment. I forget exactly what he's the god of, but he's very unpleasant. He features very heavily in the Brunner the Bounty Hunter series. But yeah, you do not want to mess with the priests of Solkhan. The priests of Solkhan are basically like a mob that are very, very violent. His warrior priests are really, really scary.
That's one of their layers. Baldy?
Heads up.
We need more warrior priest lore. I mean, Luther Huss has his own book you can buy. Luther Huss is a, you know, he's literally Martin Luther from our world, but a warrior priest. You know, a guy that goes through the whole denounce the church thing. Though Volkmar the Grim actually really, really likes him. The rest of the church hates him, but Volkmar the Grim likes him. Considering Luther Huss has gone so far as to, like, murder what he, corrupt clergymen. Oh, yeah, warrior priest from other gods. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, you could be a warrior priest of any god, except for Shalya. There's no such thing as a warrior priest of Shalya. And also, there's not really any warrior priests of, Raya. Raya does allow for violence, but only as a last resort. Yeah, the Inquisitor of Solkhan. Yeah. Very nasty dude. Yeah, honestly, like, from a kind of a meta perspective, it's almost a shame that the Empire has such like a wide variety of wizards, Because if they didn't have such a
enough to
wide
eat.
variety of wizards, they could have a much wider variety of
Stronger still.
warrior priests or like religious characters, which I think would have been a lot cooler. A warrior priest of Ranald. I don't think Ranald would really approve of a warrior priest. Ranald abhors violence. That's something not super well known about him. Is that Ranald is not okay with violence, which is why murderers don't worship him.
Looks like a gun.
Like if you're a priest of Ranald and stuff like that, it's totally cool for you to use what violence you need to like escape, but you should never be fighting for the sake of it. And honestly, from Ranald's perspective, if you're having to use violence, then you screwed up. Like that's a big no-no. A warrior priest of Raya could be a priest. Well, you have to remember that. Well, I mean, every religion has just flat out priests, and the various priests are more than capable of using like prayers in for like various situations. The big difference though between like Shalya and Raya, for instance, is that they don't really have battlefield prayers. Shalya and Raya, they have prayers you could use in battle because you can like heal and stuff, but they're not really intended for the battlefield. At that point, you're better off calling a wizard. If the Sisters of Sigmar reemerge, do you think Volkmar would let them back into the? Yes, I do. I don't think Volkmar would just automatically let them in. I think Volkmar would want them to prove themselves, but Volkmar would be open to the idea. I mean, Volkmar ultimately is still a patriarch, and Volkmar does believe that Sigmar wants his order to be male only, because he thinks that the cult of Sigmar is supposed to emulate Sigmar himself. So because Sigmar is a man, he thinks it's supposed to be purely men. But if the Sisters of Sigmar re-emerged, I do not think Volkmar would declare them heretics or try to stop them. I think he would be I think he would pay very close attention to them until he was absolutely certain of their motives. The Sisters of Sigmar were a convent. Well, basically, the Sisters of Sigmar back in the day. The Sigmarites were not purely men. They were, when it came to like battlefield stuff, they were co-gender. But over the years, the cult of Sigmar became more and more and more possessed by more exclusatory ideas, such as that women shouldn't be allowed to be part of the cult. And one of the last bastions of the female warrior priests and such were the Sisters of Sigmar. And the Sisters of Sigmar had their last major convent in the city of Mordheim. And they had this giant fortress monastery that was called, I think it was called like the Rock. But it was huge. It was a big old monastery. And they were kind of one of the leading religious forces in the city. Which when the city, because it was like so fabulously wealthy and it was doing so freaking well, started to kind of fall prey to the various curses of elite society, such as temptation and, sin of various sorts. The cult of Sigmar kind of started blaming them for the downfall of the city. So the cult of Sigmar was trying to call them out as heretics, but they couldn't find any proof because the Sisters of Sigmar were actually like very, very loyal, faithful worshippers. But eventually, of course, the Mordheim crisis happened when a comet fell from the sky and crushed the center of the city of Mordheim and obliterated most of it. And all the Sigmarites outside of Mordheim pointed to the comet hitting Mordheim. They were like, see? That was the wrath of Sigmar. That was Sigmar being so outraged by the sin and the disgusting decadence of those people that he literally threw a meteor at them to punish them.
You in a trance already, Zagreus? Or might I offer you the blessing of
Lizardman, have a good night, my dude. Get some good sleep.
catastrophic power with my own?
Electric.
That being said, if any of y'all have never seen them, there's actually a video game called Mordheim: City of the Damned that has the Sisters of Sigmar as a playable faction, and I would highly recommend it. It's a very, very good game. That's just a ton of fun. But you can see all the different kinds of sisters. Because they had some really, really cool characters in their roster.
Sisyphus?
Look out below.
I'm interested in learning more about the kingdoms of factions we have yet to see in Total War, like the kingdoms of End. Got a quick, interesting story about them, or something that I just enjoy? Probably my favorite little tidbit about End is that they actually have a pretty hilarious reputation in the West. Because the thing about End is a fascinating culture with a lot of, like, weird, various, they have a lot of really curious, like, not rituals, but beliefs. They're also rather humorously confusing to a lot of the people in the West because they suppose, it's the land of 1,000 gods. The people of End have tons and tons and tons of gods. And a lot of their gods are for really minor things, like they have gods for certain roads, gods for certain rivers, gods for certain forests, gods for certain rocks, gods for certain buildings, gods for certain things. Like, they have all these different gods. And their culture and society can be really spooky for people because the thing about them is that the customs that you're expected to follow changes from village to village to village. So traveling through End without some kind of guide is basically a death sentence because you could very easily, unwittingly walk into a village and, like, everything's been totally kosher up to that point, and suddenly you walk into this village and you don't realize that they have a custom where if you, like, walk into someone's house, you have to take your shoes off. So you walk into somebody's house and you don't take your shoes off because you don't know. And that could be seen as such a great insult to step into their house with your shoes on that they will literally, like, call you a demon or a monster and, like, surround you and hang you or ritually sacrifice you to a god that you accidentally pissed off or something. So it could be a really, really spooky place for outsiders. Some other cool things. End has its own unique form of beastmen. They have tiger beastmen, who are their own, like, unique breed. Like, they're a stable breed of beastmen. There's a geographical location known as the Eye of the Tiger that is literally a cave where these tiger beastmen live and breed, and they have, like, an entire culture. And the people of End are so scared of them, but also kind of respect them in a way because they're able to be negotiated with, essentially. Basically, what they'll do from, what End will do is they will often make sacrifices to the Tiger Men to basically keep them at bay. If they're, like, regularly they're essentially worshipped, but if they're regularly given sacrifices, they leave the people of End alone.
The prince persuades the underworld's ferocious guardian to move aside.
Hawk Oddly.
Bye for now.
You watch yourself, son. Don't piss off the Irish. Yeah, I know, the Eye of the Tiger Cave is not very originally named.
Alright, this is it.
who shall be first to return home this time, do you suppose?
Definitely you. I've got a pretty hot build, Dad.
Darkness.
Where'd he go?
Zagreus. Darkness.
Need help with something, Father?
Beware of winter's cold.
Beware, it's your mother-in-law. Man, I'm getting some good mileage out of the acorn this run. Oh, there it goes.
Not this. Let's finish this then.
You can't kill me.
I bet I can.
A wasteland void of life.
You wait right there.
Not yet. Not now.
Out of my sight.
Not now.
You. I failed to you again. How?
I like that dog.
There
Sweet home,
is
Olympa,
no
Alabama,
escape.
Alabama. There you go.
Did it. By my father's name.
Very nice. No fish? No fish. What's the point of even doing a run if there's no fish?
In his great hurry to explore the countryside, the hapless-footed prince steps on the peel of a most exotic, sallow-colored fruit, and tumbles backward with such sudden, violent force that you know what occurs.
He got killed by a banana peel. Killed by a banana peel.
Thank you, everyone. You're too kind. A word, Prince?
Oh, dude, we're finally getting the Achilles quest. Finally, damn.
I need your help with something, lad. As I'm about to risk it all, I think. Will you hear me out?
Yes, do it, Achilles, do it.
Of course, sir. What is it? I'm listening.
The pact I signed with your father. It must be buried somewhere down in the administrative chamber there. I dared not ask that you locate it, out of fear that tampering with it would only make things worse, except
Except that fear is for the weak, Achilles, sir.
Indeed. Besides, Your father has been more abiding than I expected with how you were able to nullify the terms for Orpheus and Sisyphus alike, so perhaps my case isn't a lost cause yet.
I'll speak with Nyx about it the next chance I get. And I'll be careful, sir. I promise you.
You have my thanks.
Dude! God, that took forever to get that prophecy.
The monster Cerberus.
Bet.
If I don't pet your other heads, don't bite my arm off. Deal?
Good old Game of Thrones, eh?
So tell me, Father, just how much did it hurt your soul knowing my face is up there on the featured house servant board for all in the lounge to see?
Has it occurred to you that I alone have final say about whose countenance is shown up there? Although others who shall not be named did put in a good word for you repeatedly.
Blood and darkness. All my life I thought that board was a joke, but seeing my face up there, it felt good. Thanks, Father. Maybe it won't be the last time.
See to it. And well done.
Oh! Oh, this game, like, it keeps punching you in the feels whenever you get some kind of, like, nice word from your mean dad.
Approved.
Table.
Where else is Thanatos going to stash loose odds and ends?
What use has death incarnate for such things?
Maybe you'll have something more affordable next time.
My muse writes absolutely wondrous songs, don't you agree?
Well, now who's this dashing fellow?
No, I'm not buying keys. Meg.
Well, Zag, you like things nice and complicated, don't you? Apparently, so do I.
If you're asking if I have any regrets about what happened between us, the answer is no. Being with you, any complications there are worth it.
You don't need to tell me. 2 rules if you want to keep this up. First, we set the personal aside when we're out there. I better not hear a soul say I'm going soft on you. And second, keep up this slightly more mature thing you've had going for you recently.
Wasn't planning on sliding back into the insensitive nonsense of youth, so I don't think the second thing will be a problem. But the first, can we really just keep kidding each other out there like nothing happened?
Huh. Guess you'll find out.
Yeah, dude, she would absolutely murder you if given the chance.
Freshly caught just for you, Chef. Till next time.
How much do I need for the stupid badge thing? Well, hold up. Before I do that, let me go upgrade my...
Nyx might be with Chaos.
I can finally upgrade my mirror! Please be max. Oh, you gotta be kidding! Oh, I hate this! I hate this! I hate how much it takes to max this out!
Now we're talking.
Like, yeah, sure. I like having lots of rerolls, but I don't need that many rerolls, seeing as I get them for keys anyway. And it just keeps... Oh, I hate that. I hate it!
Father keeps things orderly, I guess.
I need 1,000 darkness for the ghost with the bow tie.
Nyx is with Chaos, huh?
Christ.
Hey, mate. Haven't moved a muscle.
Alright, give me... We're still trying to finish off so many characters. It's frustrating. Like, these two were at least on the path now. I don't know what I'm missing with... I don't know what I'm missing from Aphrodite, Demeter, and Artemis to get them to stop being a pain in my ass. And wants us to do a bow run next. Alright.
Care to join me out there?
How much Titan Blood do I have? Just one. Guess we could do a bow run. quick. I'm going to do this a few times so it saves. Wait, what trinket do I have on? I forgot to change it, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Okay, we want to run into, I think, Artemis. It's like, but I've literally unlocked every stupid... I've unlocked every boon that the gods have, but 3 of them are still being a pain in my ass. Yeah, Aphrodite is still holding out on me. Artemis is holding out on me. And Hermes, I'm pretty sure, is after all of the other ones are done. Maybe, the only thing I could think with Demeter is maybe Demeter I have to wait until Persephone comes home. Like, back to me. So once Persephone is back from Olympus, I bet Demeter will unlock. The only thing I can think for Artemis is maybe you have to finish Achilles' quest for Artemis. And I don't know what's going on with Aphrodite. I should be done with Aphrodite. Like, I have literally completed every romance character. Even if you count Dusa for that. Like, I've fully romanced all of them. Patroclus and Achilles are the only non-gods left. And we're on their quest line, which will unlock them. Oh, we're done with Chaos. Still have to do a ton of Erebus stuff. Still have to enter Styx 12 more times. We're getting there, though, with the buildings. I think Erebus is the last, like, big thing we have left to do. Styx is 12, Elysium is 6, and Asphodel is 2. And we're done with all the perilous foes. We're done with the artifacts. Still need 7 red onions. And I only need 1 more sturgeon and stuff. And we've maxed out the story for all the companions with the exception of the Achilles one. Which is the last one you get, apparently. Alright. But in any event, guys, it's 2 a.m. And I have to take Chloe to the vet at 11. Because Chloe's got a big appointment today. She has to get shots. And she also has to get a couple things checked out.